where the people are kind of dumber than him, or so he thinks, and he gets called out by a couple of fat guys saying like, oh, what the fuck is this guy even doing here? He got arrested for statutory rape. He had sex with somebody when they were 17 while he was 25.
23.
And then he says,
correction, I was 23.
And then he was just like, basically talking shit to them, and then the guy swings on him, punches him in the face, and he says, you fucking...
you evil children.
Which is funny. I really love how this movie was written, actually.
Yeah.
It's good. It's great. Consistently. Anyway, so he kind of leaves the party, and that's when we see Lily leaving as well. And he's kind of right by her parked car. She goes in to get into her car, and he
was rolling a J or something.
Yeah.
He approaches her and says, hey, you want some? You want a hit of this? And she's like, kind of just stares at him for a while.
She gets petrified.
Yeah. And she says, no, I'm okay. And he's like, are you sure? I'm Tim, and tries to put on the charm. And she's like, I'll call the cops.
Yeah, automatically.
He's like,
hey, all right, it's cool.
Okay. And so she gets in her car, and then he doesn't give up. He comes to her unrolled window and basically says, I can see that you have something weighing on you. You want to talk about it? You want to get it out?
He's like, I'm a great listener.
Throwing the lines out, trying to get a little date, some action, something. And she's not really having it. She kind of lets him go on and listens to it like she's kind of... entertaining the thought of maybe hanging out with him, but then it doesn't go anywhere. She rolls up the window and he kind of walks away, but she keeps him in the back of her mind, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, she ends up going to Amanda's house to kind of apologize.
Yeah.
And she goes to her house. It's noticeably a normal looking house, right? Smaller. Her mom answers the door and thinking like, oh, why are you here?
What did Amanda do?
Did she do something?
Yeah.
Like all scared.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm just here to say hi. And and then the mom gets relieved and brings her in, and then that's when they basically, Lily, I guess, comes to terms where she's still feeling alienated, and then she needs somebody, and that somebody is Amanda, right? Because they have that scene where Lily's at the dinner table, and there's no sound, and they're just kind of staring at her like she's just trash.
Yeah.
Like they have nothing in common.
Yeah, the parents.
And so she kind of comes to Amanda, and they kind of hatch the plot for real, like, oh, we should do this. We could do this, and I know how we can do it. I
like how she's like... Amanda's like, we need an airtight alibi. It's like, we can't be here when it happens.
We can't be around, especially because she's killed. She admits that she's killed the horse. That she's already being investigated for animal cruelty. So if any kind of violence happens around her, she's gonna go down for it no matter what.
Yeah.
And so that's why she says we need alibis. We can't be around when it happens. Enter the drug dealer.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yes.
So then they're like, oh, we'll just we'll track down this guy, and
they track him down pretty good.
Yeah.
They track him down to his work. He ends up being like a dishwasher for
the old folks' home,
retirement home.
Yeah.
In the town. Oh, something we didn't say. This is in Connecticut, I believe.
Connecticut.
Suburbia.
Nice.
And so we find Tim, the drug dealer, once again, and they basically tell him like, hey, we need you to do this job for me. Like, we want you to do this hit and take out Lily's stepdad. Do you have a weapon? And they're in his car or their car.
They argue with him. I think it's his car.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I have a weapon. And Amanda goes, do you have more than one weapon? No, what do I look like, Rambo?
He's like fucking Rambo.
Yes, I have a
really
weapon. And the way that Amanda is, she's interrogating him and thinks that he's lying because he gets real nervous and he's like, what is this about? Are they trying to set me up? Do they want to get me in trouble? Yeah. So he admits to having the weapon and or having one gun, and kind of hesitantly agrees to go with the plan. So then they go to Lily's house, and you can see that Tim, or the drug dealer, is in this. He's mesmerized by the house, right? Because it's this huge mansion, not what he was expecting at all. Like, oh, these girls have fucking money, or at least Lily does, right? Yeah. So they go in the house and they do this thing where he's kind of not paying attention to them, and in his own world, and they say, hey, kind of wake up, like we got to talk about this plan.
Yeah.
And that's when they start going through the plan of when while they have to be out and when he's going to come and kind of do it, and then he's kind of counteracting their answers for everything, like, oh, how am I going to get away? And they say, oh, you're going to just drive really fast.
Drive, like, run your car, drive, and then speed out of here. And he's like, what? They're going to see my car.
In this quiet neighborhood.
He's like, in the middle of the night, they're going to hear a gunshot and sound travels across water.
He's like, I'm going to crash into a tree in these fucking windy roads.
Yeah, because she's like, drive away slowly with your lights off.
That's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, and then so he's like, no, and then
Amanda goes, no, I believe in you.
Yeah.
You can do it. And he's not having it. And then all this. So Amanda has obviously thought about this scenario where he doesn't really go for the whole thing, right? And so she's already recorded the audio in the car of him saying yes to the murder. So then she's kind of set up this whole blackmail thing where, hey guy, if you don't fucking do this for us, we're gonna turn you over to the cops.
Yeah, he's got blackmailed basically.
Yeah,
and she pisses him off with calling him out for being a sex offender, and he kind of throws her to the ground, trying to get the phone away, and he, right before that happens, he gave the gun to Lily. Yeah. So Lily kind of pulls the gun on him while he's on the ground.
Yeah. Behind his neck, right, or something?
Yeah,
like that?
His head, yeah.
And they basically tell him, you're going to do this for us, you don't have a choice, and you can come get this gun when you do the job. We're going to keep it. And he doesn't, he snatches the gun away from Lily. But by this time, Amanda has a lamp and kind of creeps up behind him and smashes him in the head.
Knocks him out cold.
They kind of do like
cracks his head open.
They do this wonky stitch up and they stop the bleeding. He's probably has a concussion. They've thrown him in this big bathtub that they have, and he wakes up and he looks all disoriented.
He has tape around his head.
Masking tape.
It's
like shape of a cone.
Hot dog on a stick hat.
I gotta go to the hospital.
And they say, no, you're not going to the hospital.
Here are these Vicodins.
Yeah, it's my mom's back surgery.
They have everything planned out. He says, what am I going to tell my dad? And they said, why would your dad care?
Yeah.
Because I live with him. They think that because he's older, he's 27, 26 by this time. They think that he's older, he lives on his own, but it turns out that he lives with his dad still. And they say, oh, wear a hat.
They're like, with time, and if you keep it clean, I'm sure he'll look really nice.
And they say, you've got 3 days from now to come and pull off the murder. And he says, you can't give me time for my fucking head to heal?
Yeah, I got a hole in my head.
And they say, no, this has to happen now because we've already set up our alibis. Yeah. So Lily's alibi is she's going to be on vacation with her mom. And then Amanda's going to be in some new class, taking some new therapy class.
Right? Sure, man.
So they have to do it on that following Saturday, I believe it was. So then he hesitantly says, okay, I have no choice, I'll show up. And then we cut to that.
They're in the spa, right?
Yeah, they're the Lily and
her mom
are at the spa.
Yeah. And they're
treatment.
you can tell Lily's pretty much out of it and kind of she's in that almost that like numbing state where she's like, oh my god, like this is gonna happen.
She's trying to distract herself, but there's a part where she's getting a manicure or pedicure on the feet, and the fucking
like the Asian lady turns into fucking the image of her stepdad, and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so it's like the Asian lady's body, but it's the head of the stepdad, and she's like, what the fuck? So she snaps out of it, and then she's looking up at the people that are actually working in the spa, and their faces start turning into the stepdads, and it's like she's everywhere she's looking, she's being reminded that she thinks that he's dead or whatever, or that he's been killed off. But
when they're on their way checking themselves out of the spa, she sees the image of her stepdad kind of creeping up behind her mom, and I think at that point she kind of thinks she's imagining it, and then he actually interacts with the mom, and he's like, oh, surprise, I'm here to pick you up, you don't have to take the train. And then she's like, oh shit, like,
because we skipped over the part where it shows him where he's asleep or whatever.
Yeah, and the lights keep the lights keep on going off. So he goes downstairs, and
it cuts to, we do see. So they said we're gonna put it in this barbecue on the far end of the lawn, and the gun. So then you do see that Tim, the drug dealer, does show up, but he shows up just to get his gun back.
Just to get the gun back.
And then he kind of leaves. He doesn't ever kill the stepdad. And the stepdad comes down the stairs and sees the light sensors, as you were saying, go on and off, and he kind of grabs one of the pokers from the fireplace, but nothing ever happens. And then we cut back to the spa when he walks in, and the look of horror on Lily's face when she realizes the murder never happened. And this guy's still alive. Yeah. And I'm still being sent away to vocational school because he doesn't want me around. And so at that point, Lily and Amanda realized, like, oh, it's fine. We're just going to do it ourselves. Yeah. We're just going to fucking kill him ourselves. And that's when Lily starts smoking in the house.
Yeah. She kind of does this, like, on the spot type of I think setup almost for the stepdad he's gonna catch me smoking a cigarette, he's gonna get pissed off, and he's gonna physically attack me in some way, and you're gonna be in the other room with a knife, and you're gonna defend me and stab him to death, basically. And the opposite happens. He kind of says, like, do what he's like, I'm tired of trying to protect you, do what you want, let that smoke go into your lungs, like, who cares, like,
the one time he doesn't do anything.
He says, by the way, you're off my payroll. I paid for your schooling,
you're
like this trade school, but after you're done,
that was fucked up.
We're done.
It's certified, like, oh man, she was gonna do that shit.
After you graduate, once you gone,
because she already felt bad the whole entire movie, so like you're just
adding more shit onto that pile.
Little girl, dude.
It's
fucked up.
So then Amanda never gets that opportunity to kind of jump out and stab him.
I like how she gets pissed off at Amanda. She's like, well, you were a lot of help.
He didn't
and
do
then
anything.
He's like, he didn't do anything. I mean, he was kind of a dick, but we already knew that.
He was stern. That's it. He was very stern.
And then she's like, fuck, and then I think that's when she kind of comes up with her plan B, pretty much, right? Or did we skip anything?
No, we skipped. We didn't skip anything.
So they're watching a movie, and Amanda's drinking orange juice or whatever the fuck she's drinking, and they're kind of Lily's kind of saying, like, your life is kind of has no meaning, so like, what would it matter, like, if you did something wrong and got caught? Like, who would really care? Because no one cares about you, really. And then I think she sees that kind of affects Amanda in some type of way.
Yeah, she says that, well, I never really thought about that.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, stop drinking the juice." And then she's like, "Why?" She's like, "I put Rohypnol in it." And then she's like, "You roofied me?" Yeah. And then that's when she's like, "Yeah, I was gonna wait till you passed out, and then I was gonna go up there and kill him, and then put the knife in your hands," basically framing her, basically saying that maybe she blacked out, and that's what happened.